That is the Applejack. And Jeff, happy Friday. Drink is in hand. I poured myself a little bit of a drink for today because it's just us. Andrew, greetings. Scott, welcome aboard. And Bob, howdy doody. As Rodney Dangerfield said in Caddyshack, oh, but it looks so good on you. Yes, well, that's what I hope. I wore this hat to New Year's Eve one year. I think it was very early in our marriage, and it's still going through. Yes, yes, Jen, I got this hat from the Fat Albert cartoon. No, I think I got this hat from a wardrobe on a show that I did, and I can't remember if I wore the show on the hat on the show, or if the wardrobe person just gave me the hat. In show business, as I've always said in another kind of analogy of show business is, there's two ways to get into movies for free. One is be so famous or well connected at the top that you get in for free, and the other way to get into the movies for free is to know the guy who tears the tickets. And that's the person who I always make friends with on the movies, the wardrobe people and the grips, and it's easier to stay friends with those people. Although I have lost touch with the lovely woman who gave me this hat, and I do appreciate it though. It's still going strong. So I got it from a wardrobe person on a acting job that I had when I had acting jobs. Happiest of happy Fridays, Brad. Yes, right back at you. A little sip from our communal cocktails as we... Rich, happy hump day. Yeah, are you into next week already, brother? So, yeah, we've got our Friday. It's us on our own. And so, it's time. Oh, Rich, your wife got you a record player. You kids have been stuck listening to Sinatra, Doobie Brothers all day. Oh man, good luck getting your other albums from your parents. I got rid of my albums when we switched over to CDs, and then of course we've gone back to albums, but I don't have them anymore. And I also had a Laserdisc player for the minute that you could have Laserdisc players, and I gave up this copy of this movie that I've spoken about in here, which was a remake of Les Miserables with Jean-Paul Belmondo. And I wish that I could get that, but I haven't been able to find it. But one of the albums that I have, and I was just talking about this the other day because the actor who played Squiggy has just passed away, and rest in peace. I didn't know I was going to talk about this, or I would have looked up his name. But I am one of the owners of the Lenny and the Squigtones album, long playing record album from a live show that they did. So, Ed, you say you pride yourselves on being bottom feeders in the wine field. You're having a nice little Boggle 2018 Chardonnay. It's only $6.96 from Costco. Ed, I have to admit that I myself have fallen into the Boggle boondoggle and really enjoyed. I've enjoyed their product from time to time. Yeah, you did come in on Laserdisc, Laura, and so. So yeah, we're talking about failed technologies. The Betamax videotape. I've got my VHS tapes. I'm going through them. I've ordered a head cleaner from the internet because these VCR tapes are so dusty that I put about 3 of them through the converter, and now it's a bit trashed. How hard did you pursue your acting career? The acting career, David is asking. I pursued it moderately hard. I had a couple of pilots that I thought would go, and I've just been converting those to video. They're slightly outdated and somewhat embarrassing, as I think every pilot for every show is. So I pursued it in the sense that I would audition and stuff. Mark Jaffe, here today, kicked out of your house for talking maskless with a friend who knew of someone with COVID. Oh, Mark, we've got to be careful. You've got to be careful what you do, who you talk to, and how many masks you have on while you're doing it. Cindy, your brother had every Beatles album at one time. Yeah, that's the thing. I've had the Beatles albums, I've had the Beatles CDs, and now I've got a subscription to iTunes, which currently allows me to listen to the Beatles. And at first, when they were not going to participate in subscription music, I would be like, I was a little bit like, look, I bought your music already. I want to be able to listen to it on the thing I'm listening to it on. What were you saying there? Rachel's asking, was the acting gig in the film Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle? No, this hat is not from that, but I was in that film. If you'd like to see a movie about the Algonquin Round Table, where I was, I shot more than I was in it. But I think that this hat I got from the movie from Breakfast of Champions, which was also directed by Alan Rudolph. David L. Lander was Squiggy's name. David L. Lander. So David L. Lander. Thank you, Jeff. Rest in peace, David, and AKA Squiggy. And if you do get a chance to listen to the Lenny and the Squigtones album, it's a recording of a live show that they did, and so they get heckled at one point. Somebody in the crowd, it's a song about mother. I'm going to play a song about my mother, and someone in the crowd goes, "Who would claim you?" And David says, "You paid $5 to claim me, $5 to claim me." It was a good. Not many people put a heckler. Well, I guess I have a heckler line on one of my CDs, but I love that record. I've had it since the '80s or '70s, let's just say. I could be hiding a laser disc in my hat. Dave, you would wear this hat everywhere? I'm going to start wearing it more. I have to say that as I'm seeing it here in the video feedback in front of me, I'm loving it. Ed, you too had a Laserdisc player, got rid of the player and almost all the discs, but you kept your massive 5 to 10 pound Laserdisc master release of the original 3 Star Wars. Well, the thing about that is you save the things that you think are the most fabulous, and certainly the original 3 Star Wars movies are fabulous, and they're probably different from the original 3 Star Wars movies that you could buy now, because what's his name can't stop noodling with them. But you should save the really obscure things like the Lenny and the Squigtones album. I do not think that's available on iTunes, but I could be wrong. The hat combined with the kilt would be a good look, my sister's saying. Well, yep. I'll have to try that out. I have both of those things here in the house. Question from the question book, number 154. Do you judge others by higher or lower standards than you use to judge yourself? That's a real thought provoker, isn't it? Do you judge others by a lower or higher standard than you judge yourself? And I'm really trying at this point in my life not to be judging people. You know, it's hard. Obviously, it's impossible not to judge people, but I'm trying to not be mean to people. If I have a negative judgment towards them, I just try and avoid them, because it's a big world and there's a lot of people in the world, and so if you're really not fond of people, if you think they're jerks, you don't have to hang around them. But I try not to spend a whole lot of time once I've made a judgment about that. But am I harder on them than myself? I think most of us are hardest on ourselves. And I'm also trying to quit doing that. The problem with judging yourself harshly is that you can't stop hanging out with yourself. And so once you've got a bad opinion of yourself, it's a real shit show. So watch out for that. Oh, that hat's distracting you from being pantsless, Geese? Well, I can take the hat off, but maybe in just a minute. Good hat to keep the pizza warm? Yeah. Bought a ton of Laserdiscs, Scott says, at Tower when they went out of business. Sold by the pound. Wow. It was half first-run movies and half porn, which you gave away. Wow. Yeah. All the... oh, Jen, you got a little Rudy from Fat Albert. Yes, he's sporting the Applejack. And I think mine might be a little bit bigger proportional to my head than his. How have I dealt with any hecklers over the years? Andrew, I always, and I think I've said this on the show before, but my thing with hecklers is always just try and give them a little bit of attention, because it seems like that's what they want. And then usually once they've had a little attention, they realize they're not crazy about having the whole show be about them, and often they'll be quiet. But I'm kind first, and increasingly firmer, and only mean at the very end. And by then it's purely seen as a joke by the crowd. And anyway, I'm just not. I'm not crazy about the. You've got to dominate hecklers. You're in a life and death struggle. Look, I've got the mic. Everybody paid to come and see me. They all want you, the heckler, to be quiet, and so generally, you ease into letting the heckler or the person who's disrupting the show know that. And most of the time they're not being mean, as I've said before. They're just excited or happy, or they've had enough to drink that their inhibitions are down, and they forgot, like, you're not supposed to just go up and start talking to the person who's on stage. Just like if you've had a couple of drinks, you might want to walk up to a famous person in a restaurant and make a fool of yourself and ask for a kiss or a hug, which has also happened to me. But the point is, they're good-naturedly most of the time trying to enjoy the show and participating positively. So it's nice to let them down easy. All right, here. You feel like this update is me interacting with hecklers? Yeah, well, Laura, that's what happens on a Friday a lot of times. I think we know that. So take out Friday fish fry here tonight. As you know, it's what we do there in La Crosse. Yes, I do, Cindy. Man, and I have to say, I remember fondly from when I was a child in La Crosse, Wisconsin. There's quite a few Catholics there. And so the Friday fish fry is a big deal. And we used to go to this place called the New Villa. And you'll have to let me know, Cindy, if it's still there. The New Villa, it was all you can eat fried fish, and I think it was French fries and some kind of hush puppies or biscuits or potatoes or something, or doughy something or other. But I could eat a lot of fried fish when I was a kid, and I used to love going there. I wonder if the New Villa is still there, Cindy, and if it is, I would definitely look forward to a visit there. I think I would like to take my wife and daughter to see La Crosse, where I spent a lot of my childhood, in Iowa, where my family's from. But there's a subtlety to it that I think might be lost on them. They might wonder, like, why did we fly all this way to see this? And it's like, yeah, well, that's a common feeling, but it is beautiful. La Crosse is beautiful, and the New Villa fish fry, very good. Louis C.K. is pretty rough on hecklers, Andrew. He's more from the assassinate, the attempted coup, and I'm more from the, it's not really an attempted coup. These are sort of defenseless people who are misinformed about their powers. Ed says, my attempt to not judge people is that you always give $1 to the people who ask for money. Realize that it makes you feel better not to try and figure out what they're going to do with this money. Yes, and Ed, I'm going to take a sip of my drink again here. I was just looking at an old Letterman appearance where I was talking about homeless people, where people say, oh, they're just going to spend that money on booze or drugs. And it's like, look, the guy lives in a box on the street. If he wants a drink, I'm fine with that. So, all right. The New Villa also had roosters on their dinner plates. My sister's adding, which she thought was amazing. Brad says, Friday night fish fry began in Milwaukee, actually, common throughout Wisconsin. New Villa was the best. Cindy is now telling me, alas, it went out of business years ago. Well, I'll have to figure out another place to take my wife and daughter for a fish fry when I come to town, and I doubt you can get all you can eat fish. I suspect that might be the way they did go out of business. Brad, thank you. I will let everybody know if I'm coming to Wisconsin or Iowa. Keys says, our daughter lived in La Crosse. That town may have as many bars as Austin. Yes, well, when I was in high school, and Cindy and I were in high school, La Crosse had the record for most bars on a city block or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of bars. Well, there's a brewery there in town. And man, it was not only so many bars on a street, you could just go down to 3rd Street to the bars, and some nights the bars would be like the regular price for a tap beer, 12-ounce beer would have been 65, 75 cents. This would have been in the 70s, but still that was cheap. And there were some nights where you could get a dime beer or a quarter beer. It was ridiculous. It was a real problem. Uma said Keys and I happened to be at a place where they were having a lutefisk contest. Oh man, that was the worst. Yeah, I'm not recommending lutefisk, but you know, you got to do everything once. When we were in Iceland, I ate the fermented poison shark. Ooh, that's a oncer, and they give you a piece that's about this big, and that's a lot. Laura says I've been giving $5 to homeless folks during the pandemic. It's hard times for us all, especially them. Yeah. Kim, good to see you. You say you're sending love. I'm sending love back to you. Can't wait to see you guys again. Some friends of ours here on the show. Belinda, I think, is up in Topanga right now. You may run into her. Jeff is saying, hey, Jake, do you have all of the Letterman appearances? Because there's only about 10 on YouTube. You'd love to see them all. Yeah, I've got, I don't know if I have all of them, but I've got a lot of them, and I'm going to start posting some to my YouTube and see what happens. Rich, you have fish fries in Buffalo. I thought it was just a Buffalo thing. Yeah, no, I think it's everywhere they have, everywhere where Catholicism is big, they have fish fries on Friday because you're not supposed to eat meat, right? There was a bar near Rich DeChooch where they had dollar beers until 2002. Wow, that's worth a plane ticket. Bob is saying when I was in college, there was a place where you could get a bucket of beer for $2. Oh, I'm assuming that's now when you go to a place and you get a bucket of beer, there's like 6 bottles of beer and a bucket of ice. But are you talking about just a bucket full of beer? Because I feel like I can remember something like that when I was a kid, like just a big sloshy bucket of beer. There's a place in El Segundo where they have schooners of beer, which is almost like a little fish bowl of beer, which is too much. Dave's saying, sweet, get to work on those videos. You want to see the used car possum one? Yeah, I'm not sure that I have all of them, but as I'm going through this box, I do think I have that one. I do think I do. I do think it's. Milwaukee was beer capital of the world in the 70s, beating Munich, Germany with beer production and beer consumption. Interesting, Brad. Thank you. Wonder Bar, 10-cent beers at happy hour in the 70s and went up in price as the night went by. Big for college kids. Yeah, I think I remember something like that. The military beer was 5 cents, Keith. Wow. It was a full bucket of beer. Bob, thank you. God. Uma left my wallet, and you left your wallet in El Segundo. I can have a look around for it, but I doubt it's still there. When will you be on a late show with Stephen Colbert? Yeah, well, I think I've told that story here before, Brad. Not to. And the problem was that they didn't want to fly people out. So Stephen Colbert wanted to have me on, or his people wanted to have me on his show. I doubt that he even knows who I am, but they weren't going to pay for the plane ticket. So there's a little misunderstanding, and so I wasn't going to be in New York, and now I'm not going to be anywhere. James Corden, I'm a big fan. I would go on his show. I'm not sure when I'm going to be on one of those. Lucy's in South Austin does dollar tall Lone Stars on occasion. Funny, I can't remember what day of the week it is. Yeah, Scott, I can understand that. My sister's asking Cindy, is Dell's bar still in business? Oh God, what was the one that I used to like? That Art Deco bar. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. There's an Art Deco bar on one of the side streets in La Crosse that I loved, but I'm sure it's been taken over, torn down, or fancified. Jen, you want a beer right now? Well, there's a cure for that, and it's in your fridge. I'm just guessing. Psychic. You still have a beer bucket that you wash the car with, Dave? Congratulations. The Casino Bar. Yeah, the Casino Bar was the Art Deco bar in La Crosse. All right, so where are we in the process of today's show? What time is it? God, I hate it. Not that I'm in a hurry to get out of here, but I was expecting Lady Jerry to be present today. I went out and had some coffee with my jiu-jitsu friends this morning, so I had a little bit of a bike ride. And then I dipped in the ocean. That was about all I could stand today. But I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go to sleep. Oh God, that's one of the bad questions. If you could have free unlimited service for 5 years from an extremely good cook, chauffeur, housekeeper, masseuse, or personal secretary, which would you choose? For a year, I could have a cook, a chauffeur, housekeeper, masseuse, or personal secretary. Which would you choose? I think I'm going to choose cook because that's going to be the relief of the biggest workload for me is the cooking. And not that I do all the cooking. Belinda does most of the cooking. But I think we'd pick cook of that. I don't know what everyone else thinks. Corden doesn't have a lot of stand up on, but he should give Conan a run for his. Well, Conan's getting ready to f off to HBO, so who knows? Comedians. There's so many comedians now, and other places for comedians to be. Oh, Flavia's saying bye bye. Cook. A lot of people are saying cook. Kim is saying secretary. Yeah, I like it. Driver in a second, Rachel says. Yeah, I do have to say being chauffeured around sounds good, but if I had to prioritize those, I think I'm going cook first, housekeeper second, chauffeur third, masseuse fourth, and personal secretary last. But that's just me. Laura's saying that housekeeper can clean up after you cook. Yes, well, I have to say you're right. You do make a good point there, Laura. A lot of the problem with cooking is the cleanup afterwards. So, what does next week have in store for us? Man, it is December 11th today, which I'm very glad that we're going to be wrapping up this year. I'm very glad that yes, Ed, Conan is retiring from wherever the hell he's been, and he's going to have a show on HBO, I think. Andrew's on the massage train. Yeah, I'm excited that we're about out of this year. I'm apprehensive. I mean, I think we're kidding ourselves to think that on January 1st or 5th or 11th, let's just say 11th, a month from now, on January 11th, are we going to be breathing a sigh of relief because COVID is in the rearview mirror, and a third of us, or 20% of us, or 10% of us even, have been vaccinated. I'm going to put the over-under at the population of the United States that's been vaccinated by January 11th at 1%. But maybe more. Okay, let's go 10%. Let's go. So we got 350 million. So 35 million people vaccinated by January 11th. Oh, I think I'm taking the under on that. And I'm the one who said it. 2 weeks till Christmas. Yes, I'm excited about Christmas. We're working out the menu. We discussed that yesterday. Cindy, can you have both the cook and the housekeeper? Yes, you can. But you're going to have to get a good job, because this is a hypothetical book of questions. This isn't a magic genie in a bottle. All I've got is a Mr. Predicto, and it's wrong half the time. I don't have a genie. Is that a Christmas walrus seal? It needs more prominent role in the background. Are you saying this thing here? No, that is Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy. This is a Santa Claus Stimpy and a reindeer Ren. So yeah, if you remember Ren and Stimpy, that's what those are. Yeah, COVID was supposed to go away the day after the election. Yeah, you're right, Dave. We got burned on that one. Yeah, Jeff, we're rounding the COVID corner. Feels great. Just hope you're still breathing on 111. Don't give up, my friends. Yep, that's what I'm doing too. I'm hoping I'm still breathing on January 11th. I'm hoping we're still here doing a show. And then where else? Right, at least something will go away then, Cindy. We're going to have a new president. That's going to be exciting. CDC says we locked into having 9/11 death counts every day for the next 60 to 90 days. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the daily death count. Do I have powdered toast, man? No, I don't. I just have Ren and Stimpy. These were gifts to me by a friend who got them, I think, as a freebie somebody who knew somebody at Cartoon Network or wherever Ren and Stimpy were, and they gave them to me as a gift. I think it's possible that it was a regift. I don't like to think about it that way because a regift is the same as a gift if you love it. So Space Madness, Ren and Stimpy reference. Yeah, man, I think I think Ren and Stimpy probably still holds up, but I got to get into. Yeah, we've got to make it to Jake Fest, Andrew. I was thinking about Jake Fest last night. I think we could probably get a good deal on our hotel. So we're going to pick a location. I think I'd like to get out of my town, but there is also a part of me that would love to have Jake Fest here in Santa Monica. So, but I think I want to leave. I think I want to get out of Santa Monica, and I think we would like to pick a location where we all get to travel. Although I am attracted to the Austin. I do love Austin. My wife and daughter would probably love Austin. Did you hear Ren and Stimpy was coming back, or was that a dream? Well, you didn't hear it from me, Dave, but it could be. Yeah, Skeletor is right here. This is Skeletor right here. Let me bring him up so you can see him. And that's Skeletor, ready for his close-up. My power is beyond your understanding. And I did just copy that Letterman, so that'll be available for the internet. All the little stuff that people buy either ends up in a landfill or my office. Yes, you're right, Ed. That's I'm doing God's worth saving the planet. I'm keeping all of this stuff out of the landfill. Rachel, yes, you'll be a welcome guest at Jake Fest. And by that I mean we'll be happy to have you, but I think everybody's going to have to buy a ticket. If I let everybody who I loved in for free, I can't afford that. All right. So no, Ed, I'm not talking about Culver City. Let's brainstorm some locations for Jake Fest. We'll think about that. Milwaukee is the city of festivals. Jake Fest. Well, I have to say, look, if I was going to my favorite place with my favorite people, that would be New Orleans for Jazz Fest. So we could have Jake Fest in New Orleans, but Ta-ta, Cindy. I think we're gonna be signing it off. Dave, you're gonna be there for Jake Fest, but 5 minutes late. I think we're going to be signing it off for today. I've got to get a seize the day. I'm going to fire up the fart machine because Belinda's not here. Lady Jerry wishes she could be here, but she was a little busy today. Motivational Monday. I'm going to cook up a good one for Monday. Thank you for being here today. It's been my pleasure. I'm going to have a little sip of my drink and raise a glass to all of you and all of us, saying take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and try and take care of an asshole until we meet again. The marriage today, Dave, is great. Belinda and I are getting along great. She woke up with a headache last night, wasn't feeling so well. Not COVID, she's just got a headache and a cold or something like that. Today's Seize the Day is from H. Jackson Brown Jr. Not Jackson Brown, H. Jackson Brown Jr. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. And so sometimes your best is not your all-time best. We're not setting a personal record every day. We're just trying to do our best on that day in this moment. And that's how we're getting ready for tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I want to say thank you again. I want to re-say happy birthday to my sister, who's thanking everyone for their birthday wishes. I know from personal experience, as most of us do at this point, that it hasn't been easy to have a birthday during COVID, just like it hasn't been easy to have 4th of July or Christmas or Labor Day. Well, we haven't done Christmas yet, but we're doing the best that we can. We're doing the best that we can today to be here tomorrow. So thanks again, everybody. Don't give up. There'll be plenty of time to give up later. Enjoy your weekend.